Every coffee needs a lotus.
And welcome back to our morning webinar with none other than Ma'am Sally Foley-Lewis. Thank you ma'am, for joining us this morning. Before we
Thank
go to the Q&As portion of our workshop, I'd like to, we're going to show a PowerPoint slide. This PowerPoint's...
Sorry.
It's okay, ma'am. It's okay. So the HR Virtual Summit, Philippines 2020. This is our way of helping during COVID-19. So who do we help? By providing free workshops, free learning sessions. Ariva Academy is giving to the HR professionals and the Filipinos in general. And in fact, not only Filipinos, but everyone who has the technology to their disposal and at their disposal now, we're giving it to you for free since early April. And now we are also giving you an opportunity, not for you to give back to us, but to give to the people who are in need. And we thank Ma'am Sally Foley-Lewis for giving her services for free. Thank you for generously sharing to us your learnings, your insights, and your years of expertise and experiences. Now, this is an opportunity for all of our webinar participants to give to a community. The Bayanihan Act 2020, or the heroes coming together. Bayanihan means heroes coming together to lift a house, transport it from point A to point B, and in this case, help the poorest of the poor. This is the platform, and you can give not back to Ariva Academy, but pay it forward to the people in need. So whatever you'll be giving, 100% of the proceeds will go to them, the poorest of the poor. And your blessings, your generosity, regardless if you're giving 100 or 200 pesos or so, whatever amount it is, we appreciate that. So I encourage you all to donate, make a difference, and so that when we walk past through this turbulent time, everybody will come out as a hero. So thank you for that in advance. Click and donate. We thank you so much. And now, going to the Q&A portion. But before that, Ma'am Sally, a while back, Ms. Irish Malonda mentioned our international participants. We also have local participants. Is it okay if I read them? Okay, so our local participants, here they are from Baguio City, Batangas City, Cagayan de Oro City, Capas Tarlac, Cavite, Cebu City, Davao City, Iloilo City, Cananga Leyte, Laguna, Legazpi City Albay, Liloan Cebu, Lubok Bohol, Paumbong Bulacan, Quezon Province, San Fernando La Union, Tagum City, in Tuguegarao City. You have tons of fans in the Philippines, Ma'am Sally.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so reminders for our participants via FB Live, LinkedIn, YouTube live streaming, and Zoom. The Zoom room, please type in your question at the Q&A box. Although we also appreciate your comments at the chat box section. Now, we encourage you to press or click the raise button so we can see you and hear you. And you can be virtually face-to-face with our dear speaker. And for our Facebook Live viewers, Madam Irish Molanda Samson is monitoring your questions. Type them in. We'll read them for you for as long as the time we have permits. So, again, welcome back, Ma'am Sally, and thank you once again for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm sure you have read some of the questions already. Let's start with the first one. Marinette Espartines, would it help to approach someone and know his reason for resisting, or would it just add up to his personal turmoil?
Oh, I think that's a fantastic question, and it comes from a place of good intentions.
Sure.
I think, Marinette, it might be, if you have the relationship with that person, to say, are you okay? And then they'll tell you how much they want to tell you. But I think if we, right now especially, if we just be a little bit kinder to each other, a little bit kinder to ourselves, and understand that we are all dealing with this differently. And interestingly, one of the things that someone shared with me recently, and I thought this would fit and answer your question, is that a lot of people are saying, oh, we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. And interestingly, we're actually not in the same boat. We're in different boats in the same storm. Now, some boats are big, some boats are small, some boats are not got a lot of equipment. Some boats have got way like beautiful, big sailing, multi-million dollar yachts. Yay. So we're all in different boats in the same storm, which means we can't always assume that we know how everyone is feeling. We're all dealing with the same storm in our own way. So you could ask, how are you? And then go from there with the conversation. But I love that you're starting with a positive and caring intent. And that's all we can do right now. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Sally, for that beautiful answer. Intentions. It's very important to have pure intentions. And you mentioned about boats. In the Philippines, there are pantries full of food, and some households have not a kilo of rice for lunch. Yeah. So we can never assume. So yes. Ronald Santos, hi. Can you show again the slide of the second step to walk through turbulent times? Sorry, I missed it. Thanks. He's mentioning about, yes, there are four. The first is understand, the third is sustain, the fourth is sponsor. Can we know, ma'am, the second? What we saw was the resistance triangle, not knowing, not able, not willing.
Yeah.
But number two, I guess, for the benefit of those who are.
So the last little bit there, yeah, definitely.
And the four steps.
So we've got to understand is number one.
Number one. Because number two, we have shown us the resistance. People resist because they're not willing, not able, or not knowing.
Yes. Yeah. So we need to help people through the resistance.
So that's the number two, help people through the resistance.
Yeah. So thank you for picking up on that. I didn't actually have it numbered. So thank you. Understand and then help them respond to the resistance. Yes. Perfect.
Thank you so much. And thank you for pointing out that some people resist just because they don't know it.
Yeah.
Some are not able to do it, or the attitude, well, part of it is not willing to do it. Thank you, Ronald. Yes, ma'am.
So I just wanted to add that I think as a leader, if you ask those questions, even if they're your little check boxes, is this person not got enough information? Does this person not have enough skill? Is it their attitude? It helps make you a far better leader because you deliver the right thing that the person needs.
I agree. Yeah. Now, ma'am, we also have pre-sent questions. Mm-hmm. And let's start off with Jesus Lobaton Jr. Jesus Lobaton Jr. asks, Is it a good strategy to venture on new simple business that is adaptable in the present situation, even if you know that it will take a couple of days to gain profit? Like, it means going out of your comfort zone.
It depends, doesn't it?
It depends.
As long as you have taken care of all the other elements of your life that you need to be mindful of. It's a big question, and I think I can only answer for what I would do, and you need to make the decision for what you would do. I'm the type of person that says yes, and then I work out how to do it. But other people might not feel as though they're comfortable with that level of risk. The question is, how much risk are you willing to tolerate?
I agree.
Yeah, and good luck if you go for it.
And we'll pray for you. Good luck. Now, we have a Zoom live question, Ma'am Sally Foley-Lewis. Am I pronouncing your name properly, Lewis?
You are. Perfect.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Just call me Sally.
Coach Sally, bestseller author. Let us call Sir Kurt Kenneth Lyreed. Hi, Sir Kenneth. We're Zoom live question. Sir Kenneth.
Yes. Good morning, Howell. Good morning, Sally.
Hi.
Hi. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I wasn't actually prepared for a video, so I will just turn my video now.
Okay, we understand.
Anyway, my question would be, since work from home is prevalent prior and probably post the pandemic, would you suggest for us from management to rather be strict on the work arrangements, say on how we monitor them, or we just continue on promoting a output-based style of monitoring, meaning once their work is done, then they're free for their day, or something of that sort?
It's a great question, isn't it? And some of the conversations I'm having with some leaders at the moment, Kurt, is that the leaders are saying to me that their people are actually feeling like they are far more productive because they can't be seen. And they want to make sure that the boss is happy. So it's by default, it's actually making people work longer and longer hours, and that's actually not healthy. The conversation with your team, I think, is a really important one, and asking them about whether they feel as though they've got enough work to do, and are they achieving the outcomes that's expected. And I think if you had that conversation with your team, you may find that some people might be a little bit slower in their adjustment, and so their outcomes are probably coming a little slower. Other people may find it much easier to adjust to work from home, and they're giving you outcomes really quickly, and they may be wanting more work. I do believe that we haven't been in the work from home situation long enough to really tell whether we need to be focusing on seeing what people are doing, or just when the outcomes should be measured by. Interestingly, before COVID, a lot of the coaching work that I did with leaders was helping them to work with their team to help them create plans, as opposed to telling people what to do, but create the plan with the employee and say, well, what's the piece of work you're going to achieve? Great. When do you think you will achieve it by? And then that way, that timeline issue of when things should be achieved by becomes agreements, and it becomes clear for both the manager and the employee. And I think that having those sort of conversations are actually going to help address the issue that you're talking about, when you can't see people in the office. So you don't, when you see people, and here's the funny thing, in the office, when you can see people all around, not all of them are working. They're sometimes just socializing. So it's just because you can see them, you might think they're productive. So yeah. Does that make sense for you, Kurt?
Yeah, thank you for that. I agree on what you've mentioned. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Sir Kurt Kenneth.
Thank you,
Ma'am Sally. Now, we have read a question from the Q&A box, and we have had our Zoom live question. We also had the pre-sent question. Now, from the FB Live, Ma'am Lurlene Joanne Adarna, she's from the USA. I'm not sure if she's in Guam or in Hawaii or in the mainland, but hi, Ma'am Lurlene. What are ways or projects we can use for staff to increase productivity?
Oh, fantastic question. And I think you don't have to have the answer to that.
Oh, she's from Hawaii. She's from Hawaii now.
What do you say? Aloha, is that right?
Aloha!
Aloha.
In the Philippines, mabuhay!
So please forgive me if I haven't said that correctly. Great question. And as a leader and a manager, I would want to encourage you to actually ask your employees that, because they know their work. And when you ask them what do they think they need to help them be more productive, and it's a serious conversation, not an angry conversation, just a serious conversation. What do you need to be more productive? What's working for you right now? Or what's not working for you right now? And those are the types of questions you could ask. And your employees will tell you, well, this is what I'm doing, and I think this will work well. This is not working well, so can we talk about how I can do this differently? And that's the strategies that will work, because the employee is the one who comes up with it, which means they're the one that's going to own it. The person who creates the plan very rarely, is disgruntled about the plan. So that's a way to do it. I mean, there are lots of tips and strategies around making sure your day starts on time, making sure, even if you work from home, making sure you get dressed for work and you're getting dressed for you and no one else. I get dressed, even though my office is in my home, I get dressed, I put on my war paint and, using a timer to get work done, letting people know that you can't be disturbed for 20 minutes while you work on something. Lots of tips and strategies, but I really want to encourage you to have the conversation with your employee. What's working for you right now? What's not working for you right now? Those are the two questions I think you could ask to open that dialogue up. Good luck.
Thank you, Ma'am Sally, and thank you, Ma'am Lurlene from Hawaii, USA, for the question and for the answer. Ma'am Sally, you know what? What I appreciate about you is you are dressed to the nine. I mean, and that's my very principle as well. Yes, you said that you dress up for yourself, but I believe that when you dress up and you prepare so well, you have made an effort to put on makeup on and dress up with your favorite red color dress with sequins on it. It shows how much you value us. And because of that, we will value you more in return. That's why it's not an excuse that if you're working from home, you just look like you just woke up.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Ma'am Sally. Now,
you.
Jennifer Barameda mentions and asks this: people resist because they think they know better. So how do we deal with them? Thanks.
If they think they know better, then ask more questions. So tell me more. How is that working for you? So what are you doing to make that work then? Be curious. There's a beautiful book written by a gentleman. He's a best-selling author. He's a New York Times best-selling author. And he wrote the book called A More Beautiful Question. And his name is Warren Berger. And he talks about how as leaders, instead of having the answers, and so you're dealing with someone who has the answers, how about we have a more beautiful question? And that can start with a concept, and it goes back further than what Warren talks about. I think it goes back to Zen, Tao Zen, about the beginner's mind, which means just be curious. And so when someone has all the answers, be the curious one. So educate me. How does that work for you? So when you do this, what happens? So tell me about your process. Maybe it'll work for me. So if you get them to tell you what's working for them, when we articulate what we're thinking about, we actually can then see the words, invisibly in the sky, but we can see the logic in what we're saying. And I think the example I'll give you is if you ever have to give a speech and you write your speech out, You're just going from your head to the pen or the keyboard, writing it out like this. But then when you say it out loud and you think, oh, that doesn't make sense. But saying it out loud is the logic checker. So when you have this person who knows everything and knows how to do everything and is the wise one, then be the curious one.
Be the curious one. That's wonderful. A more beautiful question is the answer to sarcasm, confrontation, and argument. Thank you, Ma'am Sally. Now, we'll go back to the Q&A box. By the way, speaking of books, I'd like to congratulate you on your book, The Productive Leader, How to Achieve More, Reduce Stress, and Gain 2 Hours per Day. 5-star rating.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And just imagine Brian Tracy giving good feedback and words of praise for you. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Dr. Sally, Ma'am Sally. I should call you Dr. Sally now.
Oh, no. I think some real doctors might be upset with that.
But you're a motivational doctor. Now let's have Christine Kindiagan. Hi, Miss Sally. Thank you for sharing your insights. May I ask, what if after several supports and communications, there's still resistance from a staff to cooperate and be productive? What do you think we can do to that? I think somehow you've touched on this.
Yeah, we have a little bit, but I think where we're going with your question, Christine, is that instead of talking about what you want them to do, you may have to shift the conversation to why are you resistant?
True.
And instead of focusing on the actual bit of work that you need done, we need to go to the top of the pyramid, of that resistance pyramid, and ask them, I'm really concerned that the work's not getting done, and I wanted to just check with you, what's getting in your way? What's going on? Because I'm seeing you as being resistant. Is this how you are? And it's a private conversation. It's not on a Zoom. It's on the phone, private as best possible. And you're really wanting to explore where their attitude and their mindset is. They may actually be really struggling and not know it, and no one knows it, and they don't, and they might not know how to express it. And because we're all of very different cultures, we have some cultures that don't speak up, and then we've got cultures a little bit like mine where we tell everybody everything. But it's definitely a private conversation. Don't worry about talking about the work. Focus on the why that they're a bit stuck. And again, come at it from that positive intent. I'm here to just check on you. I'm concerned about you. You seem resistant. What's going on? Yeah, start there.
Thank you, Ma'am Sally. I love the positive intent. I really love that.
Yeah.
We will be reading from the present questions. Richard Sagal. So Richard Sagal asked this: what can you advise to the poorest of the poor here in the Philippines to cope with the present situation and to lead productively as well? I'm not sure if the poorest of the poor he mentions are those who are not only lacking in food, but also lacks the technology to do the work from home. So how can we do that? It's a very big and glaring challenge here in the Philippines right now.
Yes, I have to admit that I cannot imagine just how tough. I'm not in that situation. And so I think when we are, no matter what our situation is in life, when we are trapped in our own thinking, I think we can get caught up and get really negative, and we start focusing on how bad everything is for us. But if we were to even just connect with other people and ask how they are, and maybe invite people to have a conversation about something that we could partner up and do together. I think that there might be an opportunity you get out of your head. I don't know if that makes sense, the way I'm saying it, but when we're trapped in our own thinking, we can be very negative. And I think it's, when I showed you the 5 ways to sustain ourselves through turbulent times, one of them was to give, and one of them was to connect. And I think, and as you put that slide up, if anyone can give to donate, that's part of sustaining us through this. So even when you are the poorest of the poor, how can you, and it's not giving away anything except for a smile, a conversation, and connecting with someone who might just want a little bit of human interaction to help them get through their day. And I'm sorry, I'm not in that situation, and I wish you very well. I hope that the fundraising for your effort, and I love that, all the arms lifting to raise and move the house. I think that's fantastic. I won't even try to pronounce it.
Bayanihan.
Thank you. Yeah, and I don't think that was a very good answer, but I think that's a starting point for an answer.
That's a great answer, Ma'am Sally.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're reaching out not as a manager or a boss, but as a fellow human being.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. The beautiful answer you always give us, and I really love, is the intention, the good intent, or the beautiful intent. So thank you for that, Ma'am Sally. In fact, this will be a challenge for our leaders who have an old mindset of leading their people by using their whip, perform or die, perform or perish. And you are introducing us how to be more human and more humane. And that's wonderful. Christine Kindiagan. Hi, Miss Sally. Thank you for sharing your insights. May I ask, what if after several supports and communications?
I think we
already answered that. Anonymous attendee, how would you measure the productivity of the employee working from home if it's commensurate with pay that he or she is receiving?
I think that's similar to the question that Kenneth Kurt asked before. If you actually have a really good conversation about what's your work plan and when will you have it achieved by, there are the measures there. That has to come up in your conversation. And I think one of the things that all managers and leaders need to do right now, more than they ever have before, is constantly encouraging their employees to have a plan and to be communicating with you about that plan. Because when we are focused on the plan and we are in purpose, we don't have room for panic. And I think that's what will then also answer the question about whether their performance and their productivity is actually where they say it would be. Because if they say to you, yes, boss, I will have this report for you by Friday, 5 p.m., and they tell you that, they've said it, so they own the plan. And so if it's not there 5 p.m. Friday, we want to say, hey, what's happened? What's going on? Let's talk about this. And they may have a good reason, or they might not, but it's that accountability. And then you'll be able to take it to the next step, which is either helping them get it done, helping them work out what went wrong, or you may have to have a different kind of conversation.
Thank you, Ma'am Sally. Now, Marcelino Dino Jr. asks this. I am on a work from home for almost 2 months now, and I'm on the burnout phase.
Yes.
Now, what shall I do? I'm sure hundreds and thousands of Filipinos and other nationalities would relate to this. Yes.
So I think a lot of people that I'm talking to right now are starting early, trying to get a lot of things done before everyone else in the house wakes up. And then they deal with everyone, go back to work, then they deal with everyone in the house, and they go back to work, and then they maybe have a meal, and then they go back to work. And so I don't think any one of us have actually thought about how to plan out their day in the work from home context. And it's interesting that imagine we didn't have COVID and you're just starting a new job and you want to give a really good impression. You're a great employee. And so you arrive a little bit early and you stay that little bit late, and then you do a lot of work throughout the day and you give the impression that you are loyal and you're an achiever. And then so you come in a little bit early, you stay a little bit late, and all of a sudden you've created a pattern. You've created the habit. And it's really hard to find that balance between being the awesome employee and saying, no, I've done the work, I need to go home. And so if you notice that you're having what I call, it's a project management term, scope creep into your day, then you need to look at what you're doing during your day. And so because I don't know you personally or can watch you, what I encourage you to do for the next few days is actually map out what you're doing. Don't change anything. Don't judge anything. Just actually map out what you're doing, because then when you are really clear and present to the behaviors of the day, you'll know first and foremost how to adjust. So it's like a self-audit. I would do that first. That should help you get started.
Thank you, Ma'am Sally. And I think you already answered the next question by an anonymous attendee.
Okay.
What suggestions can you give for us to balance life and work from home?
Yeah. Try different strategies like doing 50 minutes of work and a 10-minute break. The break is actually really important. And one of the things that I've been doing with one particular manager is his boss had actually asked me to work with him because he's not got a really good balanced work-home life at all. And so what we're doing is we're doing 50 minutes of work and 10 minutes of fun. And it's not work. And even though that's work hours, the boss knows this and it's okay, but he has to go and have 10 minutes with his children, or 10 minutes listening to music, or 10 minutes with his partner, with his wife, and talking to her. And so it's actually scheduled so that he does that. And again, I would say, like the last question, audit yourself first. You know, it's a really big process that we do in coaching, is that you set a goal when you're doing some coaching, and which is great, but you also have to understand what's the status quo now. If that's my goal up there, then what does now look like? Because when I've got point A and point B, you can get a slightly, better judgment of how to get there.
Thank you, Ma'am Sally, which reminded me of what you mentioned a while back, the chunking, how you are in love with chunking. We love it now even more. Chunking, so that it interrupts the monotony of a huge project, which can choke them up. So thank you, Ma'am Sally. Now, another anonymous attendee, if I care too much for my staff, there's a tendency they get spoiled. So maybe the question is, how can I care and not spoil?
Oh, can I work for you? I'll come work for you. You can spoil me. That's an interesting question, because it actually raises more questions for me. What makes you think that you're spoiling them? Do you mean that maybe that they finish early, or they don't do things, or things, you have a very good relationship, so things don't happen as quickly as they should? Again, I would come back to, you don't have to change you. Still be nice. You can still care. But it's about the conversation and about who owns the plan. If you're owning the plan, then they're likely to not give it as much importance. But if they own the plan, then they've created the accountability. So that's the only shift you need to make. You can still be kind and you can still care about them. It's the conversation that slightly shifts.
Thank you. So intimacy doesn't mean lack of accountability.
No. Yeah,
so lay dito or lead dito or lay dito, the second Filino, how can we manage expectations from our personnel who render services in the office while others are in a work from home setup? They might get jealous or be envious of those who are in a work from home setup. Thank you.
I think you need to have the ask. Be careful that are you making some assumptions? Because there might be some people who actually don't really mind what's happening, and then there'll be, if you imagine like a bell curve, and most people are in the middle, and they might have an opinion. It's most people are average about it all. Then you'll have people at one end who get grumpy and angry about everything. They'll find an excuse to complain about everything. And then there'll be these people up the other end who are happy about everything. And so I think what I would encourage you to do is ask people, are you okay with you working here or them working there? Is there something that we can do to make your work better for you so that you are staying productive? And I think that's the key thing when you speak to people. It's about their productivity, because if you say something along the lines of, oh, do you want to work from home? Would you be happier? You do want happiness, but the focus for you right now is about, are you productive here or are you productive at home? And asking each individual about what their setup is like and is it working for them. And you might even encourage one work from home and one office worker to have a conversation, and those two can share what's working well and what's not working well. And then they get the real story, and there's no assumptions and there's no gossip. So it might be a buddy up for a 20-minute Zoom, WhatsApp, and they talk about it.
Thank you, Ma'am Sally. And it's amazing how striking a conversation with a peer, a subordinate, or a superior can solve half of their problems. And thank you for that, everybody. Big hand for Ma'am Sally Foley-Lewis.
Thank you so much.
1.5 hours flew so fast, only because we saw your heart, we felt you, and we value all the learnings we had from you and we received from you. Now, for the last minute, we call it the takeaway. And I think those who answered 5 a while back are anxiously awaiting for this moment, the freebies, and of course, your nuggets of wisdom. So people can go home, have their lunch, and take that thought, which you have distilled over the past many years of your experiences.
Oh, thank you. May I just share the screen for people, if that's okay?
Yeah, bravo, bravo, bravo. Thank you. Applause, applause.
I'll just put the screen up so people can see the last screen. So if you can see that there, all you need to do is write me an email. You don't even have to write anything in the email. That's how productive we are. In the subject line, you can just put, I love extras.
I love extras.
And send that email to Sally at sallyfoleylewis.com, and I will give you the first chapter of The Productive Leader, the Productive Leader white paper, the Management Success Skills ebook, the weekly flow notes, the COVID-19 files, which I'm calling, and I'll probably throw in a few other things there for you as well. So
thank you so much for your generosity. Ma'am Sally, for the last words of wisdom.
For the last words, I would absolutely, in the words of the amazing Louise Hay, is when we have self-worth, many doors of opportunities open. Be kind to yourself so you can be kind to others.
Be kind to yourself so you can be kind to others. Thank you, Ma'am Sally. And it's so nice to have you. Everybody, big hand for Ma'am Sally. You know what? We hope to see you in person here in the Philippines when everything has settled, when the COVID-19 is over. One huge HR Congress 2021, if not later this part. We want to see you and give you a hug when
I'm coming.
When that's okay already. Thank you, Ma'am Sally.
Thank you.
And have a beautiful day. You have a beautiful life and stay beautiful and vibrant.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Ma'am Sally. And now, as one beautiful lady fades out of the screen, another beautiful lady fades into the screen. None other than Miss Irish Malonda Samson.
I'm back, and I agree with you, Sir Howell. We are also looking forward to have Miss Sally Foley-Lewis here in the Philippines, in Manila.
Yes. Later this year, or maybe early next year. HR Congress 2020 or 2020.
Yes, with that, it is indeed engaging, informative, and insightful session. So thank you so much, Miss Sally Foley-Lewis. And Sir Howell, of course, let's change the routine now.
Okay, so what do we do now?
Okay, let's ask our participants what are their key takeaways for this session.
Okay, so instead of us saying our takeaways, okay, let's ask our participants, what are your key takeaways?
So while they're typing their key takeaways, Sir, can you share with us your key takeaways po?
Mine is the pure intent, to have pure intentions when you strike a conversation. I love that. I love that Ma'am Sally loves asking people, genuinely interested in asking people how they are. And I hope that more Filipino leaders will do that as well. Kumusta ka na? Kumain ka na ba? May bigas ka pa dyan? Those things will make people feel like their leaders are leaders of compassion, leaders with pure intentions, and leaders who really care. What about you, Miss Irish?
For me, what strikes me most is we are in different boats in the same storm. So we cannot assume that we experience the same. So it's about time to connect and give empathy and sympathy to others.
Wow. Best in Q&A. Philippines!
Thank you. Let's check our participants.
Sure.
Okay. So what are your key takeaways?
Christine Kindiagan said we need to be motivated and productive while we are working at home.
Okay.
What about you, ma'am? What do you see? Danny Sassy, can you see that? Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay. From Ronaldin Mendoza, when emotions are high, the logic is low.
I agree. Emotions are high, logic is low. Especially what happened last night here in the Philippines. And you all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. From Maria Noemi Panganiban, stay positive has a great impact on productivity.
Wow.
Thank you. From Jesus Lobaton, my takeaway is to be honest of your company to deliver work. Even home quarantine, give back the work expected from us. Okay, thank you for that.
And Claire Marie Antoinette Langit, working from home, needs time management, at the same time, self-care. I love self-care.
Everyone, thank you for the key takeaways. I hope that you can share this to your colleagues, to your office mates, when the new normal comes. With that, Sir Howell, thank you so much also for moderating this learning session.
Irish.
And I'll be seeing you in a while.
This afternoon, 3 of us will be part of a forum. Okay. We're excited.
Thank you so much, Sir Howell.
Thank you, Ma'am Irish, and thanks everyone. Don't you go away. May announcement pa si Miss Irish.
Yes, please don't go away. I have few announcements I have to acknowledge and thank our following win-win sponsors that makes this e-learning session possible. So we would like to thank our official media partner, Art Plus Magazine, digital media partners, Focus Media, Globaltronics, CD Advertising Ventures, Outcome, Elevate Media. For win-win partners, thank you to Brother, Faber-Castell, Luta C, Moringa O2, KFC, Mr. Donut, Tokyo, Lotus Biscoff, Boss Job, CERT Technology Inc., Finma Properties, Salary Jet, Ilawi Korea, Kitosan and Carpo Consulting. Thank you also to Enchanted Kingdom, Disperse, Cosmetech Philippines Inc. And if you want to place your ads here, advertise your company, your logo, your services, please email us at marketing@ariva.com.ph. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. It's Ariva Academy Philippines Inc. Please scan this QR code. This will be directed to our Facebook page. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. And for those of you who want to watch the replay of our e-learning sessions this morning and the previous e-learning sessions, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. Again, it's Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. Please feel free to share this with your colleagues. For our upcoming online learning sessions, please do register. We would like to invite you for our HR Virtual Summit PH 2020 Bounce Back HR. We have upcoming series of international and local subject matter experts to share with us their insights during these uncertain times. So for further inquiries, please visit our website, ariva.com.ph. This will be later this afternoon, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. We will be joined by not only one, but 3 speakers. We will be having Mr. Howell Mabalot, Coach Randy Esguerra, and Ms. Suzette Shapno. Be more with less, how to stay positive, healthy, and productive during tough times. Don't forget to register. This will be tomorrow, Thursday, May 7, 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. Best practices on human resource planning during uncertain times. This is best for our HR professionals, people managers, and HR executives out there. We have invited Mr. Ronaldo F. Turla to talk about this tomorrow morning. Don't forget. We would like to invite you on our e-learning masterclass, online selling from home, how to use FB, IG, and LinkedIn for your business. Don't forget, this will be tomorrow, May 7, 4 to 6 p.m. And of course, this will be discussed by none other than the Asia's Millennial Guru, Mr. Jonathan Yabut. Next, this will be on Friday, May 8, 3 to 4:30 p.m. Of course, we have invited our Ariva partner speaker, Mr. Roger Colliantes, to talk about Don't Waste a Good Crisis, how to thrive, not just survive during a global pandemic. Don't forget to register. Another e-learning session, Data Privacy Concerns During a Pandemic, Protecting Your Personal Data in the Time of COVID-19. We have invited Attorney James Earl Chu, a business and legal coach and data protection expert. This will be on May 11, 3 to 4:30 p.m. Another e-learning session, COVID-19, Google and you, boosting your productivity using Google tools. This will be on Tuesday, May 12, 3 to 4:30 p.m. And we have invited Dr. Ed Canela to talk about this. Another e-learning session, a live webinar series for a cause from Dr. Rick Goodman. He will be discussing solutions-oriented leadership, how to survive and thrive during a crisis. Don't forget, this will be on May 13, 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. Another e-learning session, Rethinking Customer Intimacy Strategies During the Pandemic. This will be discussed by Professor Ricky De Vera on May 13, Wednesday, 3 to 4:30 p.m. Another e-learning masterclass from Mr. Jonathan Yabut, Leading a Work-from-Home Workforce, how to manage and develop remote teams. This will be on May 14, 4 to 6 p.m. Again, another e-learning session, live webinar series for a cause, Find Your Voice of Resiliency, so that you lead with confidence. We have invited an international speaker, Mr. Paul Larsen from United States. And if you want to customize an e-learning session for your team, for your company, invite our Ariva partner speakers, invite our international guest speakers, please do reach me at 0916-695-4418. Again, it's 0916-695-4418, or email me at irish.arivaacademy@gmail.com. And that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us this morning. So I hope to see you again this afternoon. Don't forget to register. Be more with less. How to stay positive, healthy, and productive during tough times. Again, this is Irish Malanda Samson in Ariva. It's all about being better. Be safe and stay home. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
You know what I'm saying? Happy. It's so nice to be happy.